Perfect. As you can see right now, the hoopers and shooters, we're in the building.
Yo.
From your freezer.
Hey. So the vibes are up to that.
Before we go further, shout out to Tino, shout out to the whole team that were behind the spaces as well. And every single time, make sure you get yourselves over to Hoopers and Shooters on the YouTube. Subscribe. We're going to be giving you regular content every single time. Jay, Guaps, we're in the building right now, man. How you both feeling? Just coming for 3 points. Arsenal 3, Monaco 0.
I'm putting the wrong way.
Are you pointing that way? I'll point this way. I'll point this way. You both point.
There's a new star boy. There's a new star boy on the scene. There's a new star boy.
The present and the future.
I'm not sure if you lot saw the interview at the end as well. Like them two, it's just like it feels nice to be the culture club, man. It feels nice to be the club. Like that's what I was brought up on Arsenal. Like when the young G's come up and they get their moment on the Champions League night, Premier League night. And like then they speak to the senior members of the Saka being it's like I don't know, man. It makes my heart melt seeing our young G's perform the way Mars Lewis Skelly did today, man. He didn't look like he was place, like he a seasoned professional. I'll go as far as saying I think that guy's got the hoop gene, man. Like there were passes he was making that I'm seeing experienced vets in our team scared to make, and I'm like. And when that first goal went in, I was like, Saka, that's nice. Jesus, that's nice. But Lewis Skelly, bro, to have that composure, weight of pass, vision, thread it through. And he low-key saved Jesus' day because before that, and I know Cap's going to have to have his have his way, but before that, those two chances that Jesus missed, I was thinking he's going to have one of those days. But to leave with an assist, I know it's not a goal, but it was a really, really good assist in my opinion. He saved his blushes just a little bit. Not a lot, just a little bit. But for me, Miles Lewis Skelly is the talk of today's game, man. That's just my opinion.
100%. What's yourself? How are you feeling?
Well, I'm going to start off with some stats, man. Just quickly.
There we go. I knew it was coming to
Listen, man. Like, every week I'm just like mind blown, innit? Like, it's like wow.
I did want to mention him, but I did want to steal your limelight because you have been talking about this for a long time, man.
Yeah.
What I did say in the space was though, if Eliao, Vinny, Rodrigo, Grealish, Doku, Savinho was putting in this level of consistent output and performance, people wouldn't be as quiet as they are, man. They just wouldn't be as quiet as they are.
See, what a guy, man.
Yeah.
What a guy. So this is the Bukayo Saka's Champions League stats. The same Champions League I was told he has to do it in 2 years ago because he ain't done it before.
Yeah.
Do it first. They said they questioned him.
Yeah.
14 games, 14 goals and assists.
This season alone?
No, it's whole last season and this season. He's 100% ratio for goal contributions in the UCL. One. Only 2 Premier League players have been directly involved in 20 plus goals across all competitions this season. One of them is classified as the greatest winger in the Premier League's history. One of the greatest, Mohamed Salah. And right next to him is Bukayo Saka. That's the levels we're competing at. This season, Bukayo Saka in all comps, 21 games, 21 goals and assists. And just a cheeky one out there, just to, because they like to do comparisons. I'm not saying just yet a comparison, but Saka's only 3 goals away from surpassing a certain Belgian great called Hazard's UCL tally at the age of 24.
What?
A little, that we're not talking about current day players. We're talking about greats that are going to be surpassed in this trajectory.
Great to catch up with Havertz. I mean,
Hazard, So when we talk about Saka, yeah, I'm being dead serious. Like, we've got to know what we're watching here now. We generally, it's not confirmed yet, but we might be watching a great in the Premier League right in front of our eyes. And sometimes I think we just got to remember that as logical fans, like what this guy's doing, my personal opinion, I ain't seen an Arsenal player this consistent and this much outputs and importance to an Arsenal team. But who? Fabregas, probably. Who else? Who else can
From
they?
that young, yeah,
From young, yeah.
consistently, you would mention Fabregas.
Fabregas,
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think some people may potentially mention in between that time of after Fabregas, you could potentially mention Theo Walcott.
Walcott, yeah. Not as consistent, but
not consistent, yeah.
Yeah.
But that one season though, 12-13, he went off. But I'm not talking about consistently, and he's getting better. He's getting better.
Yeah, it's only at this moment with the trajectory keeps getting higher and higher. It's only Bukayo Saka. I mean, just to go off of what you're saying, since you're throwing out stats, I'll throw some out there myself today of seeing that we had 8 shots on target. Firstly, out of a total of 16 shots. Firstly, all 3 goals were scored by open play as well.
Yeah, so Stoke FC haters can keep quiet today.
Do you think that following off of the Man United game and also the Fulham game as well, do you think that it for us to focus on that central play of getting a goal from open, actually more creative, with more outlets, and more creative, more of a creative outlet, should I say? Do you think that was more of a key focus for us today, or get the 3 points? It doesn't matter how.
I don't think I take care. I think it wasn't at a stage where we had to be nervous about the fact that we were being called set piece FC. I think if it became 4, maybe 5 games, then I'd be a bit concerned. But 2 games of being called set piece FC, if why is it part of the game if you're not going to capitalize or use those moments to your advantage? So I don't think it was really a focus. I think Arteta knew that it would come eventually, and I'm happy that it came today. To be fair, I do think that he probably tweaked a few things to see if we can generate more chances, i.e. putting Declan Rice in the 6, playing Marino, who's more of a forward-thinking midfielder, MLS, again, who's a little bit more of a forward-thinking inverted fullback. And I think MLS is actually left-footed as well. So I do think maybe he tweaks a few things to see if we can sort of generate more chances from open play. But I definitely don't think that me or the players or even Mikel were probably worried about how we look from open play. If we're punishing teams from set pieces, then so be it. If we win every single game in the Premier League 1-0 because it was from a corner, we win the Premier League. So I would never complain about the style. Don't get me wrong. Obviously, we're Arsenal fans. We like to play the best and most attractive football, but I think we're definitely in a season where we need to win something. So how we win something, especially the first one anyway, I don't think too many people care.
Even just to go off of that as well, I mean, you guys.
Your mic's crackling, bro. I can hear you, but it's crackling. The mic's crackling. You're on mute now, bro. Yeah, man. The Jay Solanke show. Get them comments in. Nah, I mean, the man have left me. But like I said, the future's bright. You know what I mean? Nah, but jokes aside, hopefully the boys come back soon and we can get cracking about the game a little bit more, like I mentioned. I do feel like there was nothing to worry about us being a set piece FC team, but it was also very nice to see that we can open up teams a little bit more and play through the middle and generate chances from open play. So, yeah, man. Wait for the boys to return. Crazy. Everyone's late for work.
How are we sounding now? We better?
Oh, much better, bro. Much better. Much better.
Apologies. The AirPods were acting up. So, as I was saying, continuing moving forward, I want to have the conversation with you about this, Jay.
Talk to me.
What was your initial thoughts when you saw it? You saw Kiwior back in the left centre back position. You saw Miles Lewis Skelly. You saw Marino back in there as well. You saw, you know, the amount of absences that we had.
Yeah.
To 5, if you want to say 5 starters that weren't playing. Yeah. How did you feel?
Like I mentioned, I've always been an advocate for being obviously growing up on Arsenal and seeing the young G's play. So Miles, I wanted him to play from the jump anyway. So I was happy to see him. Plus, I thought it was an opportunity to see if he can get minutes and see if he was actually ready, because I think the argument over the weekend when we dropped points to Fulham was, why did that Miles Lewis Kelly play? And I think Arteta has called himself a little bit, because now people are going to be thinking, oh shit, like he was actually ready to play on the weekend versus Fulham. Why didn't he play? But also now he's also got no excuse to play him moving forward. So I was excited to see Miles. Kiwior, I was a little bit nervous, but again, looking at Monaco's front line and knowing that Balogun's not available, I wasn't the most frightened in the world.
Has he been much of a threat this season? He's
been okay. He's been okay. Probably one of their better attackers. He's been okay. Nothing crazy, but he's been okay. He definitely would have started today. Yeah, like that.
He's got like, is it like something like 6 or 8 GA? If I'm correct.
Yeah. So nothing to write home about, but still a semi-decent return. So Kiwior, I wasn't too worried about. 5, I definitely don't want to see him playing right back anymore, and it's getting a bit frustrating that he's there. However, based on what I saw today, I would definitely like to see Lewis Skelly and Timber start at fullback on the weekend.
Agreed.
So yeah, again, TP doesn't make me nervous, but I just feel like he shouldn't be there. He just feels out of position a lot. The midfield is the midfield I think is probably our current best midfield based on personnel, in terms of the 6 and then the 2 8s in the arena and Odegaard. I really like that midfield. I think is our most balanced midfield. Like we saw today. We obviously have an issue on the left. So whether it's Martinelli or Trossard, I'm always going to be like, whoever plays, just turn up. I think we low-key have an issue on the right now as well. And I'll get to that after the striker. Jesus, I wasn't mad to see Jesus, because I thought today should be a game that he gets to start and potentially try and kickstart his season. He got left with an assist, sadly not a goal. But I wasn't upset. I wasn't upset to see him start. On the right, I'm beginning to get worried with the amount of games that Bukayo Saka's playing, if I'm being completely honest with you. He finished today's game again, right? He done 90 minutes today, if I'm not wrong. Yeah. Whereas everyone else is rotated and rested, and I'm just like, we brought in Sterling. He's meant to have injected some experience, Premier League winner, so on and so forth. That's what Edu and Arteta told us anyway. But for Sterling, if Sterling's not good enough to come off the bench in these games or give Bukayo Saka, I'm beginning to get worried.
I think there was a selfish reason why, and Guaps, I'll get to you shortly on this. I just wanted to touch on this one point, just to follow up of what you said, Jay. I think there was a selfish reason why Saka was kept on the pitch. Because the first thing that they mentioned after praising Miles Lewis Skelly after on the post-match interview, they mentioned was you annoyed you didn't get your first ever hat-trick?
Yeah.
And I think that's something that we've seen of where Saka's a bit of a dictator of where he says, yo, I'm staying on, I want to play, that this is what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I think he was adamant in wanting that hat-trick and could see that potentially it was going to happen and could have happened. So that's the reason why he did want to stay on. Because I know there was a period of time where it seemed like as if Sterling was warming up.
Yeah.
I think it was just after Trossard and who's it that came on? Was it Trossard and Jorginho?
So Jorginho and Timber at the same time, the three.
Yes. When those three came on, and then there was a period where Sterling.
Even the commentator said, like, yeah, Sterling's warming up. So I was thinking, okay, then cool, perfect. Next up will be Saka, get some rest. So yeah, no, I remember.
Yeah, I do think that was a selfish reason why he wasn't subbed off. Wops, going to you, what was your opinions as well of, you know, you seeing the starting lineup? What was your thoughts? What did you think was going to transpire?
Do you know what it is, yeah? At the start of the game, I was disappointed not to see Kieran Tierney, because I felt like, that's it, because like obviously Tierney is like to me, he's one of my favourites in it. Not because of his ability in it, but like the whole camaraderie, like tough man. I'm saying I used to see him as a future captain when like 2020 or 21 times. Like I was like, this is a captain. And he used to be one of our consistent players. Like I don't forget, like all was shit. I remember it was just him and Saka, just two man stepping the whole season. Do you get what I'm saying? Everyone else was dead. So obviously that sentiment is still there for him. So I wanted to see him, like try to see if he can hang about with his team. But then obviously the man that came in instead, I mean, wow, my water performance from Lewis Skelly. I mean, you talk about players being ready and age and that. I mean, that performance was as mature as anything we've seen from Calafiori this season, anything we've seen from Timber in that position this season. So why not going forward? Could you not? Why can't he just go up to Arteta and say to him, "Yo, I want to be the starting left back. I want to be a starter now." Because that first goal come purely because of him.
Yeah.
Took one turn, took two players out of the game, split the lines into Jesus. From there, was happy for Saka. So I'd be super impressed with him. Obviously, my man the match is Saka, but I promise you, we're close, just behind because that was how old is he? What 18, 17, 18?
18, 17, yeah, one of the two,
yeah. To be putting in them type of performances, I mean, in a UCL in his debut, I mean, you just got to clap for him, man. I think to have him and Ethan Maneri come out at the same time, but we're lucky, man. You know what I'm saying? Like,
ALN 2.0, man.
Bro. But my only thing is we're only lucky if Arteta's going to play them. And it's frustrating because I asked in the space, like, how do we know that after today's performance that Lewis Skelly is good? And everyone's like, because we saw him play. It's like, exactly that. If these guys don't get the opportunity to play, we'll never know if they're good enough or they're not good enough. So for me, I think Arteta has hopefully learned a valuable lesson this season. And I don't think you need to overthink breaking them into a team. If players are good enough and ready enough, play them. All of this, after slowly and gradually break them into the team. No, bro. You gave Lewis
Just play them. Yeah.
start, and he looked fantastic. So on the weekend, based on how he's played, it'll be very disappointing if I don't see Lewis Skelly start on the weekend versus Everton.
And do you know what? I'm a strong believer on giving someone their chance and just letting them sink or swim, bro. Like if Lewis Skelly drowned today and he never played another game this season, I can't fault Arteta because I was like, you know what? He gave him
At least you tried. At least you tried.
And we saw it. Like he's not ready yet.
Yeah.
Same with Waneri. But then, like games like today, I'm sorry, like as much as Arteta is stubborn and whatever, but like I genuinely believe in my heart of hearts, he's not that stupid to deny what he saw today because of experience or
you say that. Ethan should have been starting a lot of games, especially in that period where Odegaard was injured. So
yeah, but he should have. But that Ethan, realistically, unfair to him, he really got a proper like look in and started the game when Odegaard came back. So maybe that's a leeway. But with Lewis Skelly, Calafiori, we don't know what's going on with Calafiori. We need a right back because
Ben White's out. They came out and said that they rushed him back because we never had a lot of options, and that's how he's got re-injured. So
you know what I'm saying.
And then
so we need him to play, man.
Even just mentioning you brought up pivotal player Tierney. Just before the game, Mikel Arteta did come out saying, "I would put Kieran more in his strengths. If we do what we have to do, I would put him in positions, especially in attack, in situations and scenarios and spaces that he is more comfortable with." And this comes from the scrutiny of a lot of people saying the reason why he's been seen as the outcast of the team is because he doesn't play this quote unquote inverted style that you know Arteta wants in his fullbacks, specifically in his left backs, that he can't emulate exactly what the likes of Zinchenko do or Calafiori or Timber do at that time. But at the same time, we've seen people like Kiwior who struggle to do the inverted style of things, but yet he's not seen as an outcast on that left back. If anything, he was given a strong run of games. And we know how Arteta is when he wants to get rid of someone who feels like can't duplicate a style of play that he wants. Prime example being Ramsdale couldn't play that sweeper keeper type of role that Raya does and doesn't have the distribution that Raya does. So Ramsdale was quickly made the outcast. So this is nothing new. The question is what happens now, especially in this period of time when we've got such a crazy schedule, and the injuries that we do have. next week we're playing Crystal Palace twice.
Right, yeah.
I believe, twice in 1 week. Once in Selhurst Park and the other in the Emirates. Same way we've got a crazy amount of Premier League games. Thank God we're done with Champions League now, I believe. We got one more before Christmas.
I think we're done until New Year's now.
Done until January. Yeah, we've only got 2 more now, isn't it?
Yeah, only 2 more games.
Yeah, only 2 more. And yeah, with that, so it's Dynamo and also Girona that we've got left.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Perfect.
that's it.
And at the minimum that we need, correct me if I'm wrong. Sorry, Guaps.
I think it's just 3 points. Now.
Yeah, isn't it? You need, is it 15? A minimum of 15, then you're guaranteed to qualify.
Yeah, but I think based on how the tables is at the moment,
I don't know.
So we're
4th.
Yeah, we're 4th. Oh, sorry, we have this. So, are you talking about top 8, or do you mean qualification for?
Oh, top 8. Top 8.
Top 8. We probably just
probably
at least win one. I reckon.
Okay, so if we win one
more,
like
both of them, because Dortmund they've got 12 points and they're sitting in 9th. This new format is tight, bro.
It's weird. I know the only team that's guaranteed to go through in that top 8 is Liverpool.
Yeah, because
Liverpool, the only ones.
Dortmund can't catch them. Basically, yeah.
Yeah, very, very, very interesting. Going back into the game, let's start off on the first half. Guaps, what was your thoughts on the first half?
First half, I mean, I feel like it was we started off a bit sloppy. I thought we were giving the ball away. I think Monaco started off on top a bit, I think. But then I think we just slowly grew into the game, started to get hold of it, created a few chances. And then that first half, in terms of finishing, it might be not the worst first half.
Brother, all we can say for the finishing in that first half is this. Honestly. It was horrible.
What Jesus had to, by the way, Kivio, Fairs, I didn't know you had that in you. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know
you know what? He's done this a few times, because I think it was the Man United game where he pinged a crazy ball as well, and it was like,
it was United, yeah, I think it was United, yeah.
United game where he pinged a crazy ball, and I think it was to Trossard. I think it was Trossard, and it was like, you know what? Credit to Kiwior, he does have that in him. Even last season, where the howler goal that Martinelli scored in when it was 2-1 against Liverpool, when Alisson that was Kiwior that pinged it.
Fair play. So yeah, to be fair, even before he signed, I think we knew that he had a little bit of a ball playing gene in him, to be fair. So that's a surprise.
Yeah, not just obviously, yeah, that was a great ball, but yeah, Jesus, I think he had 2 chances, and Erdegaard
had one.
That one, it's like, at least get on target, bro. At least make it look like the keeper done something. Don't miss the whole goal.
Yeah.
Obviously, I think Martinelli had a shot. I think we create so much chances. And I was thinking that, I know we're 1-0 up here, but like, is it gonna be them days? Like, we just don't take our chances. And then Monaco had a set piece. I started the second half, and I was thinking, okay, cool. Like, it might be one of them days because they just missed by a bit. So, but obviously, other than that first half, it was, I think it put a little bit of doubts that I had in my head about the creativity in this team to bed a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, cool, they have it in them, bro. They're just not doing it.
100%.
So that's what I saw.
But again, that's again, I don't want to rave on about it too much, but that's a huge part of the reason why I didn't like Declan Rice in the 8. Not because he's a bad footballer or anything, but what's required of both of the 8s that play in Arteta's system is that getting the ball on the turning, picking up your head and finding that line breaking pass or that forward pass. And Declan Rice is more of a ball carrier for me, 1, and 2, likes to play the way he's facing as well. But I feel like Mourinho definitely unlocked a level of our creativity that we have been missing for a while now.
Jay, do you grow more concerns after seeing the first half performance from Gabriel Jesus specifically?
Yes and no, because I know that we don't have to rely on him, if that makes sense. So I'm concerned for Gabriel Jesus, the player, especially in terms of, can we get any money back for him? Am I concerned for Arsenal season? No, because he's not our starting striker. But what it does, but this is where it's a little bit weird because we're generating all of these chances. I really want us to get a striker that has the nose for goal. But I'm worried that we get that striker in, and then come next season we change the way we're playing again. So it's a bit like I only want that bags, man, if we're going to continue to play like this in terms of generating chances and moving the ball quickly. But I don't know. Some days I just watch this, I'm like, we're slow and mundane and we're not passing the ball quickly enough. So yeah, to answer long way of answering your question, I'm not concerned because Jesus isn't our starter, but I do want him to score because I think if he continues like this through to the summer, we'll struggle to get any decent money for him.
I disagree. You know, I think we'll get good money for Jesus. He's got that Brazilian that. You know what I'm saying? That potential. Like, I don't know. I just get that vibe from like that team will just take that chance where they would hope if it clicks. Because he's not a bad footballer, bro. You're just shooting from a goal.
Yeah, I guess that hope, that hope when he comes, if the manager of the club that he goes to wants to play him on the left, but as a striker, I'll be very worried.
What would be the realistic destinations you see him going to, Guaps, in your opinion?
Sounds sad, innit? Like, but I think it's a Saudi thing for him, man. Saudi, bro. Saudi.
Well, it might actually be Saudi, bro.
Can I be honest? Did you know I see one place?
Where?
Italy.
Yeah. There's a lot more space for him in Italy.
Yeah, but what team though? What team in Italy is taking a gap like right now? Because in the got Martinez, Juve got Vlahovic.
Yeah.
What AC Milan? What they got Morata? They just signed Morata last year on the free, and they got Tammy at the backup.
Yeah. Napoli's there.
What's Napoli saying?
Oh, Napoli. They got Lukaku now.
Oh yes, they do, and he's banging.
He is banging. I think you could get Jesus and play him as either the second striker or on the wing.
I don't think he's going out of his way to leave Arsenal to be a backup. He came to Arsenal to be the
no, off the bench. I'm talking about behind the main striker.
Oh, it's like a
second striker or a winger.
I can't see him bowing out and deciding to say that, you know what, it's Saudi time. I can't see him being like,
I can't see him wanting to go to Saudi. I think he'd rather go to Brazil than go to Saudi.
100%. And those are the conversations that we've been hearing so much. It's a shame that he's gone off because I was about to ask him about a player that he's been very... Oh, he's back. Guaps, I was about to ask you about a player that you've been very vocal about. As much as people sing his praises, you often question his presence at times. Martin Odegaard, the captain, from that first half, what was your thoughts? And you know what, overall, not just the first half, but just his game today overall, what were your thoughts and opinions on him? Did it add to more frustration and more distaste, or do you see, you know, his presence and, you know, him being on the pitch?
First of all, I don't have no distaste against him, number one, because he's an Arsenal player. I don't distaste Arsenal players. And obviously, second of all, like, it was just another frustrating game, man. Obviously, he looks nice on the ball, the little turns, little shimmy and that, all good and that. But that's like, what does it come into though? Like, today was like, what did it actually get into? That one-on-one chance, like, I don't care about that one-on-one chance. Like I'm saying, players miss chances. It is what it is. I'm not gonna hold that against him that he missed. Yeah, but it's like his overall influence in the game, bro. I wasn't seeing the system. You know, that's what it was called. You know, when he came back, the system is back. We're battering teams again. The system. I don't believe there's a system, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think I generally just view the team differently to how others view it. I just view the team as defensive monsters who just got a superstar up front in Bukayo Saka. That's just how I see the team. And there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? Because so Odegaard, I see him. He's the link between the whatever. But today, I'm flattering again, man. And I think that's why Arteta took him out again, just to, like, save the game. So I see as.
It's funny that you say that. I think it was Josh that said it. I'm not too sure. If it's not Josh, then forgive me, bro. I don't want to throw scrutiny on your name, but I do remember someone saying that a conversation, an uncomfortable conversation, is Odegaard. I don't even know. I think it might have been you, Jay, that was saying about Odegaard hogging the right-hand side.
No, it wasn't me, but I agree with whoever said it. Totally, but I agree.
I totally forgot who said. I think it was Josh who said that. I'm not too sure.
It might have been Josh, but yeah, I just feel like currently, like like right now, I feel like Odegaard's that guy. I don't know if you remember, but in school, like there was the best player, and then there was a person that was good, but always wanted to play with the best player. I feel like right now, Saka's our best player, and Odegaard just wants to play. So it's like, oh yeah, like me and Saka are better than you lot, but Saka's like, bro, I'm a team player, bro. Like I know I'm the best player, but Odegaard's a bit like, nah, man, I need to make sure that I'm passing the ball to Saka because me and Saka are boys, sort of thing. I don't want to pass the rest of you lot, and I feel like that's happening a lot at the moment. I don't know. I can't put my finger on it. Like we all waited for Odegaard to come back, and it was like psychologically. Remember, it's like placebo effect. Psychologically, he's come back, and we're playing well. But apart from the first game back, I can't point my finger on a game in which I thought like, yeah, Odegaard, you've been fantastic.
Do you think the glitter's worn out? Not to say him per se, but you know how we were like so down in the dirt, and then we saw instantly his first game he was back was, oh, he's doing a madness. And the glitter's sort of worn out per se, of where it's like, okay, we know this is what you do, so just continue doing it, but can you give us something new? If
I think it's either the glitter's worn out or he's not who we think he is. And when I say that, I don't mean it to be harsh, but there's nothing wrong with just being a cog. I feel like right now, a lot of Arsenal fans, especially because of the season 2 years ago, we feel like he is one of our game changers, or I don't know. We put him on the same pedestal as a Bukayo Saka, if that makes sense. Whereas, or a Bruno Fernandes for Manchester United, KDB, the role he did for Man City for a long period of time. So we look to him for answers sometimes, and I feel like, you know what, you're not that guy, and there's nothing wrong with not being that guy because, bro, like not everyone's gonna be that guy, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know. I look at Marino. Marino's not that guy, but he's effective for us. Martinelli's not that guy, effective for us. Havertz, not that guy, effective for us. Raya, not that guy yet, but effective for us, if that makes sense. Some people might say Gabriel's not that guy, but he's effective for us. So I don't think there's anything wrong with that, and there's nothing wrong with being a cog. But I feel like because in our minds we're thinking he's more than a cog, he is the key. But when he doesn't perform like a key, he's like, But for example, today, I don't think he played badly, but there were things that he should have done to make us think, wow, captain. There's a reason why you're the captain, and those moments just weren't there for us. So I think you said it right in saying that the glitter's sort of run out, but it's harsh to say because I still feel like he helps us stay ticking, if that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely agreed. I think he had a better performance than he did in the Fulham game. I think what's frustrating with Odegaard, and when you mentioned those names, I was just literally trying to store it in my memory of the players you mentioned, the Marinos, that you're not that guy, but fair enough. Martinelli, you're not that guy, but fair enough. Gabriel, like, you're not really that guy. You are that guy, but you're not really that guy, but fair enough. With all of those players, every single one that you mentioned, I always remember there's someone that can replace them. Marino, oh, we've got Jorginho. Martinelli, oh, we've got Trossard. Gabriel, oh, if worse comes to worse, we can end up putting in, if they were fit, is you could put a Timber as left centre back, or even play a Tomiyasu left centre back, or a Kiwior. But then remember, with Odegaard, it's a frustrating thing of there is no one for you. The only person that we do have that would be the replacement, to be fair, or someone that can partly duplicate, what you do, is Ranieri. And even with that, he's still so immature. Go for it.
You should partly duplicate. Is it partly duplicate, or can he duplicate?
I think it's.
I don't think. I think there are two different modes of midfielder for it to be a duplication thing.
He's a better driver with the ball, Ranieri.
Ranieri he's more fearless than Odegaard. He's more fearless than Odegaard.
Well, it's because they're two. Like, for example, like a lot of people said that ESR couldn't do what Odegaard could do, and vice versa. But that's because they're two different types of midfielders. But I still feel like the end goal was similar. I.e., both of them can score, both of them can assist. And again, it's part of the reason why I didn't really want ESR to leave, because I feel like whether it's Arteta or another manager, I definitely feel like there's room for both modes of midfielder, if that makes sense. Because I've always been the type of guy that likes my 10 to be a little bit of a busybody. This whole sort of dictating 10, I don't really like. Even Ozil wasn't really a dictating 10. Like, give Ozil the ball to feet, boom, boom. I'm finding someone, if that makes sense. This new version of 10, and I can't even like an Odegaard to a 10 that I've seen in the past. He does give me old school vibes, but I can't even like think of a player that it reminds me of. But this 10 that we currently have, where it's like he's not busy enough, and it's like he gets the ball, and it's like about keeping the ball moving. It's a bit like, I don't really want that for my 10. He plays more like a traditional 8. And I think that's why I get frustrated from him sometimes. Maybe it's a mental thing where we need to understand that he's not a traditional 10. He's not a GA 10, if that makes sense.
I think it's hard to say, and to partly even disagree to some extent, to say that Odegaard is a GA 10, because we've got to remember, if it wasn't, I believe it was the 22-23 season where he finished on double digits for assists and goals. I believe it was, I don't know if it was like something like 10 or 11 goals or something like that. And like the same of 10 plus assists as well, that he can get you the GA. Sometimes I think Odegaard has gone back, and what's frustrating, and today proved it, and the Fulham game proved it, is what was our number one scrutiny we used to say about Odegaard: just shoot.
Yeah.
If you shoot, you're going to score, bro. If you shoot, just quaff it. And even if you don't, at best we'll get a corner, and you know how we do from those. So that was the issue that we had with him. At times, it's just where you take so many touches that are necessary and not needed. We saw that quite a few times.
Question to you then: was that season a fluke? Because we're still yet to see that season. Like, it's been 2 years since then, and we're still, or a year and a half, shall I say, since then, and we're still begging him to shoot. We're still begging him to pass in behind a lot more. Don't get me wrong, he does pass in behind, but we're wanting him to do it a lot more. We're wanting him to find one as well. We're wanting him to shoot more on target. Like, there was a shot he had today where he tried to finesse it from his, and I was like, bro, like,
yeah, that was very unnecessary. It was very unnecessary.
You're behaving like you haven't been there before, sort of thing. So I guess my question to you is, and you obviously you still feel like he can be that GA midfielder. Was that season a fluke, or what is it?
No, I think it was two. Again, it's funny because someone was having this conversation yesterday, is that there's two missing pieces from that season and how fluid and how well we played compared to now. And those two pieces were, one, Granit Xhaka, and two, a informed Zinchenko. It was those two that I think without those two, this is the reason why we're in the position that we're in right now. We still haven't found a Granit Xhaka cover of, left-centered midfielder who could go off into the wing if we need to, that allows Martinelli to go central if he needs to, because Jesus may drop back at times. Same way that same LCM could, drop into left back if he needs to cover in certain ways as well. Like, and also a ball playing LCM as well. That Xhaka was pivotal in that, and the connection that was with Xhaka, Zinchenko, and Martinelli. There's so many goals you can look at in that 22-23 season that came from that side. And I think that's what's the issue now, is that Odegaard has pretty much neglected that side and doesn't have someone that's there that can trust, that he trusts to say, you know what, you hold them down and do that on that side. I'm going to do similar on this side. And I feel like, to some extent, I get the frustration of when people say that they're a bit annoyed with him, that he's hogging that right-hand side, because, you've got Timber, or you've got Ben White and Saka. And the fact that you have Saka there, that's someone that you consistently, is a cheat code. You know that he's got to, at best, either pass the ball back to you, like just outside the box where you can see a gap to try and get a Havertz or a Jesus in, or he's got to cross it in for someone in the center to try and get it. So regardless, that's going to happen. Whereas with someone like on the left-hand side with a Martinelli or Trossard, we don't know what they're going to do.
Yeah.
Are they going to beat their man? Pause. But, so I do think that he's kind of cheat code to some extent, I would say.
I wouldn't blame him though. That, I mean, is it not that just human nature just to go to the best player side? That, bro, in all seriousness, if I was Odegaard, bro, I ain't trying to be on that left-hand side of Martinelli right now, bro. Let him kick ball with someone else, because You know what's gonna happen, bro. So you might not even get the 1-2 back.
You're the captain, bro. Like, you need to be able to play on both sides. You can't, like, especially if you've got a side where the right winger doesn't need your help. Like, the right winger and especially fullbacks now in Timber, they don't need your help, bro. That right side is cooking with or without you. So I think it's lazy and selfish to say, oh, like, yeah, man, I don't want to be anywhere near that right side. Like, I don't know, man. I'm not buying it from Odegaard at the moment. You're the captain, and even then, I also don't like the fact that Granit Xhaka and Zinchenko are being used as a reason as to why his output has decreased.
He should do better. He should do
Yeah.
better. I think that's what it is. I think he should do better. Shout out to Cap every single time. He asked thoughts on Jesus. The man them did give them earlier on, but just to give you a brief recap. In my hand right now, I've got my breadsticks, I've got my hummus, because I am feasting on that guy's stinker. I am feasting on this at this moment of time. Gabriel Jesus at this point, I think, has gone beyond just low confidence and not feeling himself. Pause. I think it's got to a point of where he is generally mocking us and taking the piss. You know the frustration that you see Liverpool fans have towards Darwin Núñez yesterday, of where he was just stinking up the place. That's similar to what we had today, but the assist covered it up. So it's like, oh, you got yourself a lifeline today.
I mean, look, I just gave up on Jesus. Like, as a footballer at Arsenal, when he plays, I generally like what he does. It won't piss me off no more because I know he's leaving in the summer.
I feel I hear what you lot are saying, but I think you're being harsh. And the reason why I say you're being harsh is because I think he only struggled to put the ball in the back of the net. When it came to his movement, he was fantastic. I think the assist, we're not giving it as much credit as we should have. Don't get me wrong. Yes, it does hide a stinky day in front of goal. But in terms of movement, I think he's just missing everything apart from the finish. And whether that's confidence, whether that's ability, I said in the past, I feel like he's definitely got to that age of the Brazilian attacker cycle where it's like, it's time to eat his food, get a bit chubby, go to Brazil, catch a case, and then bro,
facts.
It's just the history of Brazilian attackers.
You're not lying. You are not lying.
But Jay, but you see, you saying that though, why I don't get it is because see the players that follow that trend. They have seasons, not even just seasons where they look back on and say, "Yo, I went off that year." Jay used to have that outside of Brazil.
He might not have.
You can't do that yet.
He might not have a full season, but he does have seasons where he was very imperative to City winning silver.
Centurion season, he was pretty pivotal in that.
Yeah. He can turn around and be like, bro, like not many strikers can say they scored 4 goals in one game. Do you know what I mean? Like, I've done that on the route to, do you know what I mean, winning the Premier League trophy. So, I hear what you're saying, but I don't think he'll look back on his career and think it was a failure. I do think he'll look back on his Arsenal stint and be like, man, I could have done better. I don't think he'll think Arsenal was a failure, but I definitely think he'll think I could have done better.
Now, I'm just saying that when City signed him, let's not forget, bro, this guy was a big prospect in Brazil.
A massive prospect,
for what he was said to be and do, like, he ain't, do you know what I'm saying? So maybe do you think he'd have that in him? Like, because I thought when he was coming to Arsenal, he was coming with a mindset of, bro, like, I came out of Brazil as a top dog. I want to show why I was a top dog. And he ain't done that yet. He still has that in his mind.
But he started like that. He started like something's definitely changed somewhere because he's
something mentally. There's something mentally. Yeah.
I will never forget that pre-season when we were like, we've got a striker. I can't remember. I think it was a goal from the corner. No, not corner, but from the side of the. And he just whipped it, and I was like,
it was that performance against Leicester, the 4-2 performance against Leicester.
And then he started off the season with a goal, and everyone's like,
when he got the goal at Tottenham as well, and so just his overall presence.
Something somewhere has happened, It's getting to a point where now I'm worried if it's more than confidence. It's given when Torres went to Chelsea.
Yeah,
it's like he's just lost his powers, bro. Like I
think
don't know
it's
what it
the
is.
injury, because the shift did happen when he got injured at the World Cup. He just didn't
I
come
think
back
that played a major role in him. I think as much as we can joke around and say, you know, for instance, it was the Monsters in Space Jam moment of where they just took his powers from,
and zapped him.
you know, from his boots or from the ball at the training ground. At the same time, you can just look at it and think maybe it was the injury that just played a mental effect on him, and from there, he's just. Let's be realistic. He's on social media. He's seeing the scrutiny that's put on his name. So he's more likely seeing as, you know, whenever he uploads a picture on Instagram or wherever, there's people that's telling him, just go, just go, just go, just go. And it sounds harsh saying this, but I look forward to the next 2, 3, 4 years where Jesus does a sit down and tells us exactly what happened and why this happened. Because there is a deeper story behind it. But I think at this moment of time, I don't think it's the abuse. I'm not just saying it's just the abuse, but I think there's a deeper story behind it. But at this moment of time, I'm not trying to hear it when we have got Premier League and the champs and some accolades we want.
As much as I obviously, even me, like on the I feel bad for him side, I'm also on the side of it gets to a point where you need a goal, bro. Like I can back your performances for as long as I can, but you also need a goal. Someone said it in a space, and I could be completely wrong, but they said that this is his last month to get a goal this calendar year. And if that's true, I don't know. I'll be a bit.
He ain't scored the whole 2024.
That's what someone said in the space. I need to fact check it.
No, he scored. No, that's a lie. He scored. He scored. Didn't he recently scored? He scored in one of the Carabao Cup games. Yeah, one of the Carabao Cup games he scored.
Oh, then.
I guess
I don't know if it was. Yeah, it was the Preston game that he scored in. But also, I think it's because Premier League wise, the last goal that he scored in the Premier League was Nottingham Forest in January. That's why it's like if he doesn't get a goal next month, it does look a bit scary that you haven't scored a Premier League goal within a year. And also, it looks more scary when you see that Gabriel Magalhaes is only a couple goals behind his overall.
Yeah, overall, yeah.
As a striker.
That's not even a diss though, man. Gabriel is he's a real life glitch.
Yeah, of course.
You can't take that away from it.
First on the 30th of January this year.
Yeah, that was the last time that he scored. It was the Nottingham Forest game. Before we get towards the player ratings, I want to do something a bit different here.
Talk to me.
I want to ask you both, Jay and Guaps, who was your unsung hero today on the pitch and why?
Oh, good question, bro.
You know, usually we look at the typical, the usual suspects, your Sakas, your Odegaards, your Salibas. Who is someone that on the pitch you feel like was the unsung hero of it? Said, you know what? That person looks cold. Guaps, let's start with you then.
I'm going, bro, straight out Declan Rice, bro. Natural. Bro, fluid football again, bro. And it's like, it's not a coincidence. Like, once Declan Rice is back in the six, it's going off. You know what I'm saying? So, obviously, I could give it to Declan Rice. I think Moreno got stuck in today. You know, I don't get the angle from the fan base trying to rub him out quickly, saying it's a flop. And I don't see it. I don't think he's been bad, but I think Moreno unsung hero. But I'm giving it to Declan Rice, man. I think he's come under a lot of unfair scrutiny. Very unfair, unjust. A lot of eyebrows were raised for no reason, in my opinion. Jumps in. So
yeah.
I'm giving it Declan Rice, man. I think he's back to what he was doing last year in the six again, man.
I agree. Jay, yourself, if you had to pick one.
I can't give it to Declan Rice because I feel like there were a few passing moments that he should have found his teammates in today.
I know what you're talking about. It's when he was driving in the first half and he just passed it back. Then they lost possession.
Bro, and then he started apologizing. It's like, we apologize. Why didn't you just pass it, bro? Like,
as soon as that happened, it's like as if I could hear Reese in my right ear shouting at me. I could hear him shouting at me. I said, I hear you, bro.
You went all that way to turn around and pass it back, bro. Oh, man. Yeah, for me, you can't be on. And in the 6, he done what I expect. Don't get me wrong, he was really like he was on cleanup duty in the 6, but that's what I've come to expect from Declan Rice, if that makes sense. So for me, unsung hero, and got to mention him is Moreno. I feel like he's not going to get the flowers, but I think everyone is linking us being so fluid to every other thing in the team, apart from the fact that we have a natural midfielder playing in midfield, if that makes sense. And I think he played a huge part in allowing us to be extremely fluid on both sides, that is. Don't get me wrong, Trossard and Nelly were very frustrating, but it's also the first time I've been able to see them actually run onto balls rather than always getting the ball to their feet, if that makes sense. So I think Mourinho was tidy going forward, and pretty solid defensively as well. So for me, that's the answer, because that's the name no one's going to mention. After today's game, everyone's going to mention the Sakas, the Havertzes, the MLSs. I haven't heard someone mention Saliba in the space. They mentioned Declan Rice. So yeah, for me, Mourinho's unsung hero. I did try to think about a moment that Raya had, but I don't think he had much work to do today, so I couldn't really give it to him. And they only had one shot, so yeah.
I think another person that I'm going to mention, because both of you said the people I would have mentioned, I think another person that was an unsung hero today, Kiwior. Jakob Kiwior.
No, you just do that because there's no one else to mention.
Nope. You know the reason why I'm going to mention?
I hear it. It's just that he never had nothing to do for me today for me to mention.
He had nothing to do today, but you know what is a positive bounce back from the Fulham game, and that's what I want from our players.
Yeah.
If you're going to have a stinker, bounce back.
Yeah.
Feel me? Even though there wasn't much to there, but and to some extent, could you say that there wasn't much for them to do? Because you have to remember, between that 45 to 65 minutes, they were on us.
Yeah.
They were on us. We were actually sitting kind of deep, to be fair.
Yeah.
So
one more name as well, and you lot won't like it, but I think Jesus, man, outside of the 2 misses, I think he done everything that we would have liked to have seen him do from a striker outside of the two misses. So I'm gonna give him an outside shout. Not saying he was the main unsung hero.
He gets a little whisper, a little.
Yeah, he gets a little. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, a little.
Never a whisper, but he gets a little nod. I'm saying across
Yeah,
good game, bro.
I see what you done.
Yeah.
You know when the Af auntie does the.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not happy or proud of you, but it's just
Right.
You acknowledge basically.
Yeah, I acknowledge you. No Roman Reigns.
You passed your exams. Okay.
Exactly. Okay.
You didn't get A, but passed.
It's okay. Before we do get onto the player ratings, shout out to Man City in the dirt again every single time. 2-0.
Man, do you know how jarring it is, bro? Like I want to talk so much shit and get off my chest, but I can't. We're not top of the league.
Yeah, literally that. 22nd in the UCL table right now. Celtic are above them, which looks peak. But yeah, big up them, I guess.
Hey, but yeah, man. Hey, they got relegation scrap against PSG coming up. Hell yeah, this is real life.
That's a must-win game for them. Are they at home or are they away for that game?
Was it home? I don't even know, but that's their next game, man. Fighting for relegation, man. Shit, they Pep, man. Had a mighty fallen.
And 130 charges as well, but yeah, we'll speak about that another time. We'll definitely speak about that another time. Let's get to it's away.
Was it away?
It's away.
Current form, hey.
22nd of Jan.
Am I late, or did West Ham just hire a new manager?
Have they?
They didn't even sack their manager, no?
I just seen welcome to West Ham, Steve Cooper.
What?
Steve Cooper?
I could be wrong. Maybe someone's trolling me, but I just saw them.
They gotta be trolling.
Yeah, it must be.
How would they hire Steve Cooper for?
That's so strange. I don't know why they're not. Maybe someone's hoping that he goes to West Ham soon.
Yeah, I think it's a troll. Definitely troll.
Ignore me. Yeah.
The last thing they posted was about West Ham women who won today. So shout out to them every single time.
Hey, you man, I'm gonna.
No worries.
Cool.
We got guaps every single time.
3 points though.
Breeze through these ratings quickly then.
Yes, let's definitely get through those quickly, Jay. Let's start off with David Raya in goal.
Casual 6. Didn't have to do anything today, but do you know what I mean?
Do you know the reason why I'll give him a 7? Once again, great distribution.
Yeah. I'm not opposed to it, and a clean sheet. I'm not opposed to it. a 7 at all.
So we'll give David Raya a 7. Thomas Partey in right back.
You know what? I'm happy that we gave Raya a 7 because I think Thomas Partey, tough one because he wasn't rubbish, but he didn't do anything either.
I think a 6 is fair. There was a few times yet again where he lost possession.
Yeah. I think
this is becoming a bit of an issue now. Thomas Partey does.
Whereas he's a bit loose on the ball.
Those stretch your leg passes where it's just like you didn't need to try and feed
he can stretch his legs and his legs are so long he gets away.
Exactly that. Fair enough. Thomas Partey is 6. William Saliba.
7.
Yeah, I think it's a shy 7. You don't have to do much today.
Yeah.
Jakob Kiwior.
Kiwior 7 as well. Actually, I think it'll be harsh to give him anything different to Saliba. I don't think he struggled in any element of today, and I think him and Saliba were just as good as each other. So yeah,
definitely agreed. Miles Lewis Skelly.
An 8. You know, I'll give him an 8. I don't think he done anything. I don't think he done anything to warrant a 9. Is why I'm giving him an 8, if that makes sense. But he was better than the people I've given 7 so far. But I don't think his performance was really good, but I don't think it was worthy of being like you deserve a 9 or a 10, if that makes sense.
Do you think that Mourinho was able to? Sorry, just a random tangent. Do you think Mourinho was able to progress and get forward that bit more today? Because
100%, yeah.
Miles was sitting in his comfortable position as centre mid.
I might even give Miles a 9, you know, because. And the reason why I'm going to bump up is because there were times where I saw him popping up next to Declan Rice, and he was just comfortable popping the ball with Declan Rice in the middle of the park. Don't get me wrong, I know he's a natural midfielder, but to have the IQ to play inverted left back as well as he did is not easy, man. Like, I like Timber, and I've seen Timber struggle there sometimes. I'm not saying he struggles all the time. I've seen Timber struggle there sometimes. The only person I've really seen play inverted fullback as well as I saw Lewis do it today is probably the man that's the king of doing it, which is Zinchenko.
Yeah, agreed.
It'd be a very, very nice and low 9, but yeah.
I think 18 years old, your debut start in the Champions League as well. We have to put all of those things in there and actually, give him that rating of a 9. Let's move on to the midfield. The £105 million midfielder, Declan Rice.
He's slowly becoming Mr. Reliable, especially when he plays 6. So it'll be a steady 7 because I think defensively he didn't let the other team's midfield breathe. But he can't get anything more than that for me because going forward he wasn't the greatest, even from 6. So I think I'll give him a steady 7.
Agreed. I think a 7 is fair. Marino.
Unlucky to not get an 8. I'll give him a 7.
Yeah, if there were 0.5s, it'll be a 7.5 for him and Declan Rice, I think.
Yeah.
I think it would. Martin Odegaard, Capitano.
I want to give him a 5, but I don't know if I'm being harsh.
I was going to say a 6. Reason being is that him pressing, I always loved that of Martin Odegaard, of where he was pressing a lot. He just never never puts his foot on the brakes.
Yeah.
He's constantly.
I'm not opposed to 6. I'm not opposed to 6 at all. I just feel like I feel like I was thinking 5 because I expect more from him. But if I'm thinking about the performance in silo, then I'm not opposed to a 6.
Yeah, I think a 6. The reason why I can't go any further is that I think, yes, as much as he did offer a lot pressing, but creatively, I don't think there was that much today as well.
I'm gonna reserve my comments on his creativity until after Everton because Everton have been very, very bad. So if he struggles creatively against them, then I'll be a bit concerned. I'm come back from injury. I've given him 3 or 4 games now, especially in this run up where we've got 3 games in 10 days. I'm expecting to see something from Odegaard. So yeah.
But the issue with Odegaard against low blocks and PMP in midfield that he doesn't do well. he
Then
doesn't.
that's going to continue to be the case. Then we need to really look at whether he deserves to play one in those games or to be Arsenal's captain, because the better we get, the more low blocks we're going to play.
He does try to look for those gaps in there. And let's be realistic with Everton, but definitely he's got to find gaps in there. That's why it will be fine.
Well, he better. We thought he was going to find gaps against Fulham.
Yeah.
That's probably in.
That was his worst performance.
But I think in almost 2 or 3 years, that might be his worst performance I've seen.
Yeah, that was his worst performance. I think the last time he had a worse performance than that, I look at the Everton 1-0 game that we lost in 22-23, where he stunk that game.
Yeah.
Going off to the left, Gabriel Martinelli.
6, same as Odegaard. Didn't really do nothing for me. I'm trying to even think of a Martinelli moment.
He missed that opportunity in the first half.
Yeah,
it should have been a goal.
Should have been a goal.
I think I'm gonna give Martinelli 5.
Oof.
Reason being is he's very lucky not to have got sent off. He is very, very, very lucky.
Yeah,
very lucky.
I can agree with that. But I not an excuse, but his head was definitely gone because they were having their way with him a little bit. But
yeah, his head was hot. His head was hot in there. Yet again, I do think he was under the spotlight of where a lot of people were looking at him and saying, okay, you're 1v1 with your man. What are you going to do? And yet again, it was nothing.
Do you think that Teta needs to give one of Nelly or Trossard a run of 5 games? Because if I was either of them, I would be getting a little bit frustrated. I don't know if I'm starting every week. And usually it's fine to not know. But when it's like, this week is Trossard, this week is Nelly, this week is Trossard, then Trossard again. Then actually next week I'm going to go. It must be a bit like, bro, like I'm trying to get into my groove. And I know I'm a professional footballer and I should always be ready, but I'm trying to get into my groove. But you're not allowing me to get into my groove. So again, I could be thinking about into it too much, but it'd be good to know what you think about.
I think the issue is that none of them have tried to snatch that chain.
Yeah.
Do you remember? I don't know if the game was called either hot potato or hot pocket, of where you'll throw that, you feel me, of where hot potato, of where this is literally what these men are doing. Oh, you take it, no, you take it, no, you take it. And no one has snatched the chain to say, you know what, I'm going to take it. And you know, if you look at that left wing, what games do you look at and say, you know, that was an outstanding performance from the left winger? At best, you could probably, the first one that comes to mind is probably Man City.
Yeah.
First half, Man City.
First half. I was going to say, even then, it was even a sustained 90 minutes.
Yeah. First half, Man City. That's the only thing that comes to mind, that none of them have tried to snatch that chain. I think for Martinelli, I would say 5. You're saying 6, right?
No, I think I'm going to stick with 6.
Okay, cool.
But yeah, I can understand why you've given him a 5.
Gabriel Jesus. This is where I wish 0.5s were here.
Yeah. I'm
really wish 0.5s were.
And the only reason why he's getting a 7 from me is because of the assist.
I hear you. I would have gone with a 6, but if it was for me, like if there was 0.5s, it would have been 6.5.
Yeah,
I don't think he was that bad, but to say as a 7, the same as a Saliba or Kiwi or a Rice or a Marino, I think it does them less.
It does, but again, those players will understand that it gets a 7.
Yeah, but he got an assist. He got an assist he bloody needed. Bloody needed.
Big time. And it was a good assist as well. It looks like it was just a pass, but I think he done well to make sure it was still out of keeper's reach and on Saka's foot. So
looked up before giving the pass to see exactly who was there and fed it
the
perfectly.
For Skelly to find him as well. Skelly mentioned
yeah. You know what, to be fair, for that, fair enough, 7. I'll agree with you. Yeah, I'll say 7. Starboy, man. Starboy Saka.
9. I don't think it's any debate. 9. And I do feel for him for not getting a hat-trick as well, to be fair, but I think
he needs a hat-trick, man.
Yeah. One, he needs one, and 2 is a bit like I guess Havertz has to have that striker's instinct, but it's like, bro, like, you're gonna let that one slide, you know what I mean? But 9. I think, and I'll keep saying it, if Vinny, Rodrigo, Leao, Salah was doing what he's doing right now, they'd be calling that player world class.
There'll be Ballon d'Or.
Yeah,
Ballon d'Or quotes.
Yeah,
exactly for that. Let's move to the subs. Yuri and Timber.
I think he came on and picked up where MLS left off. I really liked him today. I think he was much better than he was versus Fulham. But again, nothing to warrant being a 7 for me. So I think I'll just calm with a sub 6.
Yeah. Agreed. 6, yeah. Jorginho. I think he looked really good when he came on.
Yeah, he did. I prefer, and again, I've said this sometime, Jorginho shouldn't be starting games. He should be closing games. Jorginho's a closer.
Yeah.
Again, no 0.5.
Hard, isn't it? So you just have to go with a 6. You can't really give him a 7. But he controlled the game very, very well when he came on.
He's a fantastic closer. Like, don't get me wrong, he hasn't got the speed to stop transitions, but guess what he's going to do? He's going to frustrate opposition by, when he gets the ball, keeping it tidy, making sure his passes make it to where they're meant to get to. And he's not going to venture too forward, knowing that he's just there to close out the game. So, I think it was okay.
Do you see him being like the upgrade to like an El Neni, of where usually we'll bring on the El Neni to close on those games?
Yeah, but it's a weird one because I don't know if it's an upgrade. Because the reason why I like Nelly is because Nelly could press everything.
Yes.
Got the IQ and will have to just sit. So I don't know if he's a version of El Neni, but whether it's an upgrade, I'm not sure.
Makes loads of sense. Let's get to Leandro Trossard.
Oh my gosh. I didn't like his performance at all. From
But do you know what it is, Jay? I'm beginning to think you don't really like Trossard.
You know what it is, yeah. I liked him at the start because I thought he was going to be off the bench, game changer. He has that trait where he knows how to come in hot all the time, if that makes sense, off the bench. Mm-hmm. But this sort of transition to him being a starter hasn't really worked out. And then it's like, because he scored some pivotal goals for us, in his head, it's like, I'm the guy now. And he's beginning to show in his performance. And I'm like,
a lot of ego.
Yeah, be humble, eh?
Yes. Stay humble.
Bring it back a little bit. So it's not like he's been terrible, but I'm just like, some of the things he did, I'm like, bro, you weren't doing that at Brighton. You weren't doing that when you first signed to be at Arsenal. So what is it now that's making you have this belief that you can pull off these crazy moves and crazy shots? But in saying that, at the same time, it's not like he was rubbish. I just didn't like his performance. I just felt like he saw that it was 3-0 and wanted to be part of the celebration.
Yeah, the highlights. He wanted to be part of the over TNT Sports uploads the highlights. He wanted to.
It'll be a low 6 for me. I don't think it's fair for me to give him a 5. I think it's just
agreed.
A sub 6. Yeah,
agreed. Killer Kai Havertz.
You have to give him a 7 for the goal.
Yeah,
and an assist as well, wasn't it? Yeah, and an assist. Actually, you know what? I'm going to give him an 8 because the way in which he pressed for Saka's goal, it's like
that's what we want to see from him.
Yeah, he came off the bench and it was like, I don't care if I just come off the bench. I'm still going to run 100 miles per hour. And then obviously you got the goal as well. So I'm going to give him an 8. I'm going to bump him to an 8.
The rest was needed for him. I feel like he was very energetic as soon as he got on the pitch.
Yeah, I think so.
Was pressing, stayed central as well. Yeah. What we like.
My thing is, I just hope that the rest was enough for him to have that same energy versus Everton, if that makes sense.
Yes, very, very true. Because we're going to need that. I need you to put pressure on Pickford.
Yeah, literally.
Last but not least, younger star boy Ethan Nwaneri.
Cool 6. Didn't really do anything for me. But when he was on the ball, he looked tidy. I wish his shot went in.
Yes.
Say from the keeper, but yeah, cool 6 from Ethan.
Agreed with you as well. The manager.
I think the manager got it right today. I'm gonna give the manager. I'm gonna give him an 8. I think 8 will average out what the players are like. I wanted to give him a 9, but I think there was only 2 9s and a bunch of 8s, so I think 8 is a nice little average. I think I really like the 11. I like the fact that he gave Jesus an opportunity to try and do something, and I think the subs are fantastic. If people disagreed with me, but I think knowing that we have 3 games in the next 10 days, protecting people like Miles Lewis-Skelly and Declan Rice and Odegaard, but still giving some of your starters some minutes just so they can get some juice in the tank, was very intelligent. 14 home games we have in a row where we haven't lost. That's 12 wins, 2 draws. So we're looking really, really good at home. And again, I think he's thinking of the next couple games ahead. And 3-0 versus a decent Monaco side, clean sheet. I have to give the manager an 8. Unlucky he's not a 9, but I think 8 is good.
Yeah, definitely agree with you in that sense. I do think the only thing that would have took it up to a 9 would have potentially been including in Sterling.
Yeah.
They've been able to
you know
manage
what?
those.
If you had played Sterling or if you had taken Saka off even,
to manage some Saka minutes.
Yeah.
And it would have been higher. Yeah. I mean, I think overall it does look positive with this. 6 games played in the Champions League. That is us with, is it? I believe
13 points, sitting 4th in the league.
13 points that we have.
13 points for 3rd in the league. Sorry.
Yeah, that is literally being that 1 loss, 1 draw, and 4 wins.
4 wins. Yeah.
So
we're now ahead of Leverkusen, Villa, Inter, Brest, Lille, Dortmund, Bayern, Atletico, all the teams, Juve, all these teams that people said, Sporting we're ahead of, City obviously we're ahead of, all these teams that people said that we'd struggle with. We're literally 2 points behind Barcelona, 5 points behind a Liverpool team that haven't lost in the Champions League yet. So
and we are the third best team of conceding the least goals as well.
Our GA is only 2, which is fantastic.
That is between us.
And on top of all of that, the last 2 games are games in which I can see us doing something similar today, and not complete rotation, but whatever 11 goes out there should be
comfortable. Yeah, should be comfortable.
Exactly.
Should be very comfortable. Before we do finish and wrap up, I do just want to ask you one brief question. We have got Everton this weekend, Saturday 3:00. You going to the game?
No, I'm not going to the game. I might actually come to think about it, but no, currently not. But I
think I might. I think I might be going. Someone did shout me for a ticket, so I think I might be going. If I do, I'm going to holler at you and let you know where I'm going. Briefly, predictions for the game.
I want a clean sheet. I think we need to get back into the world of respecting clean sheets. So as long as it's a clean sheet, I'll be happy with a 2 or 3-0. I'm not going to be too greedy. I think once it's 2-0, similar to Monaco, and we're comfortable in the game, I want to start seeing some rotations. I think if we don't see Sterling on the pitch, and I'm not going to include a cup, if we don't see Sterling in a game before New Year's, I'll be very concerned as to why that signing happened. So I really want to see Sterling. I want to see MLS start. I want to see some minutes for Ethan. It would be nice to see KT, even if it's just to put himself in front of in the shop window for a move in January or in summer. But yeah, Everton, I'm predicting 2-0 because I'd like for the first team to be 2-0 up and then get some rotations in, and not the rotations don't have to necessarily score. Let's just get them some minutes so they're primed and ready for a busy Christmas period. By yourself?
I agree. I was actually going to go for the same thing, 2-0 as well. Reason being because I know Everton are well rested, that they've had, I believe, is it 10 days?
Is it 10 days? Wow.
I think something crazy like that they've, because I think it
was. Yeah,
because
of the Liverpool game,
it was 10 days that they've had since. Last time they played was the 4-0 win against Wolves. Everton's a weird one because that's just a PMP team and they're just going to be frustrating. But we are at Emirates, it should be. I expect it to be a physical game, a very physical game, but I do think that we'll control it. But yeah, I've got 2-0. Just get the goals and then get my boys off so that we can focus on Crystal Palace next week.
Agreed. And I don't like Everton's defenders as well. Like, I really don't want us to be put in a position where we piss them off and then they start doing stupid stuff. So I'm with you. Get the goals and then protect the team and then get out of there.
Exactly that. First and foremost, Jay, big up every single time, man. Big up every single time, my guy. For those that are locked in, big up yourselves. Make sure that you are following Hoopers and Shooters every single time on Twitter, that you are sharing, commenting, subscribing. As the boy Josh says, hit the notification bell.
Very nice, goes.
Yeah, man, stay locked in. We're gonna be back again. I think there might be a space tomorrow. I'm not sure. I think the man will be talking again.
Tomorrow, probably, but regardless, there'll be spaces and streaming on game day. So yeah, man. See you lot.
Big up every single time.
Right, man.